But I also have a question about the role that race and gender played in these results. Here are the facts. If we would pull back the layers, she is a person of color, she is a she, and she is in an interracial marriage. And I wonder, I have this question mark in my mind over whether all of those things combined was too much for pockets of this country. And it is a stunning, this says more about who we are as a country and this moment, that this overqualified African-American mixed race woman did not win this race, and she lost it to a man who is a felon.
Okay.
Who tried to overturn the will of voters in a free or fair election.
First of all, we've been friends for a long time, and I feel like you just captured what a lot of people are feeling. So let me just say that.
I can't help but wonder if the American people have given up on democracy.
You think the American people have given up on democracy because they voted for somebody that you didn't want to win? Yeah, that sounds like democracy to me. Democracy's dead because people didn't vote how we told them to. Anyway, guys, it's about a year on from the election, so I thought I'd put this compilation together from all the best media meltdowns. And they get worse as it goes on. So let's get into it.
I hear what you're saying. And I do see it differently because I'm thinking about the people who are not a part of anybody's elite, who are hurting tonight.
If she were a 6'4" white man from Arkansas or from, Florida, do you think she would be losing by that much?
Do you think if she was maybe competent, she would have won? Probably. But the truth is, she just sucks.
There's misogyny. But it's not just misogyny from white men. It's misogyny from Hispanic men. Right. It's misogyny from black men.
And tonight they're trading in a lot of hope for a lot of hurt. And they were hoping that maybe this time, one of their own could be seen as worthy. And tonight they're trading in a lot of hope for a lot of hurt. And they were hoping that maybe...
I think that in 2016, we didn't know what we would get from a Trump administration, but we know now. And we know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And so I worry, not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry about our elderly and their Social Security and their Medicare. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have. And I remember my father telling me many, many years ago that I was the first person in his family to enjoy full civil rights. And now I have less civil rights than I had when he told me that.
Yeah, she has fewer civil rights, but she can't tell you what civil rights she's lost. It's funny that, isn't it?
I'm surprised at the result, but I'm not surprised. As a woman of color, I was so hopeful that a mixed race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country. And I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
Imagine thinking people didn't vote for Kamala because of that. Now, it's got nothing to do with the fact that she was uninspiring, historically unpopular, who couldn't even answer basic policy questions.
And that to me brought me a consolation and inspiration this morning because I have no regrets. I worked hard as hell to elect the first Black Asian woman president. History slipped through our fingers again. I worked hard as hell for Donald Trump not to be president. But today, unlike Donald Trump and his followers, I acknowledge that he won.
Yeah, obviously they worked hard to elect somebody purely based off what she looks like. But here's the funny thing, just a few days ago, America actually had the chance to make history again. This time with the woman on the left. She would have been the first black female governor in American history. But all of a sudden, right, all these same people who literally spent years saying you need to get Kamala in office because she's a black woman, all rallied behind this woman here on the right. So I guess diversity doesn't really matter to these people. So they don't really care about the identity or anything like that. They'll just use it to brainwash people.
Watch this. This is Barack Obama talking to black men when Kamala Harris was running for president. Pay attention to what he's saying, and then pay attention to what I show you after and think about it.
On the one hand, you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. He said, work harder and do more.
So when he's talking to black men about voting for Kamala Harris, he makes sure to make it about race and say she's like you. You need to vote for her. But now let's translate that to the governor's race in Virginia. You have a black woman running. Her name is Winsome Earl Sears, and a white woman named Abigail Spanberger. Let's take a look and see who Barack Obama endorsed.
Virginia's elections are some of the most important in the country this year, and I am proud to endorse Abigail Spanberger for governor.
But Barack Obama was just telling black men that we should have voted for Kamala Harris because she's black and has similar experiences as us. But now there's a black woman running for governor in the state of Virginia, and Barack Obama is endorsing the white woman. Why is that? Because it's not about aligning yourself with people that look like you. It's about Democrats staying in power or getting power. Barack Obama was just manipulating black people's sensitivity on race in order to get them to vote for a Democrat. But now that the black person is a Republican and not a Democrat, he's going to vote against that black individual. So again, it's not about skin color. It's about political power, and Democrats just manipulate black people's sensitivity on race in order to get black people to help Democrats stay in power.
Yeah, this sums it up pretty well. Listen, guys, this time we need to vote for the white lady, not the black lady.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
It was some 10 million Biden voters who decided not to vote this time, and that's directly tied to misinformation. You know, they don't like Trump, but, you know, they're thinking, well, do we really
Did Donald Trump not pick up more votes this time than he did in 2016?
So, pardon me?
Did Donald Trump pick up more votes this time than he did in 2016?
Yeah,
or
but
in
not
2020?
than he picked up in 2020, the most relevant last election. He picked up about the same, but 10 million.
Both sides can say things like this, like misinformation. It's hard to quantify.
If you don't let me make my points, why do you have me on?
No, we love it. It's a conversation. It's spirited. I think there's a little bit of a delay.
We're done.
I think we'd love.
Let me talk. What's the point?
You can.
Are you the expert or am I the expert? You can question me.
You so
but you
claim
gotta
to be an
let me talk.
expert. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. The critical thing in this election were at least 10 million Biden voters who did not vote. If even half of them had voted, this election would have been different.
We hope to have you back in 4 years. There is a little bit of a delay, Professor Lichtman, so I apologize if we were stepping on each other's toe. Our intent was, of course, to listen to what you had to say. And like you said, you were wrong. But maybe in 4 years, we'll get back on track. Again, Alan Lichtman with us here on the DMV Zone. We appreciate you.
Yeah, he would have got it right, apparently, if it wasn't for 10 million people just randomly deciding, you know what, I'm not going to vote in this election, like I did in the last one. Yeah, all right, mate. Keep making excuses. Anyway, let's go back to The View, because after the election, they had a meltdown like every single day for about 2 weeks. I think this is like day 4 or something.
I disagree.
All right.
I think that I'd like to reframe the conversation. I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is, what is wrong with America? I think what is wrong with our country that the Republican Party would choose as a candidate and support a candidate who is an insurrectionist, who is an election denier, who is someone who is twice impeached, 34-time convicted felon, someone who has been accused of alleged sexual misconduct by 26 women, found liable for sexual abuse. What is wrong with this country that they would choose a message of divisiveness, of xenophobia, of racism, of misogyny, over a message of inclusiveness, a message for the people, by the people, of the people. That's what the problem is.
It's like Kamala Harris. Go back as far as you want. I blame a messaging within the Democratic Party.
You don't blame the Republican Party
Can I just finish my point, please? I obviously have a problem. Anyone has a problem with Donald Trump. The bigger question should be, yes, Sonny, why did they vote for him?
Yes.
In sweeping...
So they need to be introspective.
No, we need to be introspective. If we voted for Kamala Harris, we need to say, what didn't resonate with the voters? Do you know what didn't resonate with the voters? When they were saying we don't feel safe, and the left focused on defund the police and bail reform. Yeah. When they said we're worrying about... Can I just finish? Let me just finish real quickly. When they were focused on renaming... It's only an hour show, ladies. Joy. When they were focused on renaming schools, there were people saying, hey, students are destroying colleges. I paid for that. I sent them there. They can't learn. And everyone apologized for it and didn't want to attend to it. They also denied the border was a crisis and kept saying, no, it's fine. This is not a... There was a border bill, though. There was a border bill. Yes, but Joy, my point is they screened and screened and screened. They didn't vote for him because he's a racist or a misogynist. They voted because they needed help in their everyday lives.
The blonde woman is actually right. But instead of them realizing that they might be the problem, they're just complaining that everybody on the other side is stupid. But the truth is, most everyday people can't stand them. They're in their little elite circle, and they're not in the real world. And it's like, maybe calling the other side stupid and uneducated and misogynistic and all the other names under the sun that you can think of, just because they have a different opinion to you, is probably not a good idea.
Let's talk about exactly the question that you're asking is one that I've been catching a lot of heat for answering on air, and we've been talking about this in the last week or two. You're talking about the propaganda campaign and the playbook of Trump. This is not new. This is not surprising. This is directly out of Hitler's playbook. This is out of an autocrat playbook. This is a way to, I mean, the things that Trump has done masterfully, frankly, is to get the entire, to get a big part of the population to believe that the game is rigged and to sow distrust in public institutions and the free press. That is a tried and true playbook that we have seen time and time before that has resulted in really disastrous things for society. And that is what's working. And so it's actually quite simple. When you tell a big enough lie over and over and over, people are going to believe it. Even when folks around him, like Rudy Giuliani and others, have literally been found liable for telling those lies that weren't true. The public still believes it, and the whole goal was to erode trust in our public institutions, and it's working. If anything, that's what fake news. I mean, Donald Trump has done that really well. Can't argue with that, right? Okay. And that's sad. That's sad.
So here we are 1 year on, and they haven't changed one bit, have they? If anything, they've got worse. But anyway, let me know what you think down below. Make sure to like the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.